Thank you very much, Speaker. Well, can I start my contribution by wishing everybody a very happy National TAFE Day today. I know that many of the TAFE colleagues are out about in the Parliament meeting with members and senators to talk about the importance of TAFE in all of our communities. So a happy National TAFE Day to everyone. The reason, Madam Speaker, that I've put this matter of public importance on the record was because, sadly, on National TAFE Day, we have discovered through the release of the Government's Federation Green Paper that they are giving serious consideration to abandoning any federal responsibility for vocational education and training in this country. Now, the reality of that means that what we've faced in an area of public policy where one would think the national interest would require an active, supportive federal government, we've actually got a federal government who has, firstly, in their very first budget in this place, decimated the budget of the skills portfolio, and then secondly, included in their Federation White Paper serious consideration of throwing their hands up and saying it's all too hard, we'll just pass it back to the states. And the implication of that, the result of that, is the remaining $1.8 billion in the skills budget would be gone. Absolutely gone. Now, Madam Speaker, with the Leader of the Opposition this morning and the member for Canberra, we visited the Canberra Institute of Technology. A fantastic facility, and I'm sure it's replicated in TAFEs across many of our seats across this country. And we met with apprentices who were studying in the automotive section. It was a great cross-section of apprentices who told us some fabulous personal life stories. And in particular, I would report to the House that probably a third of them were mature-age apprentices who were people who had had an original career and had made a decision that they actually wanted formal qualifications and wanted to enter into a trade area. There was one young woman there doing automotive, and she made a plea to all of us to get out and support more women into the traditional trades and into apprenticeships, and she was doing really well there. So this was a great opportunity, and I would encourage everyone to continue. I know members do visit their TAFEs, to continue to do so, because the serious problem that TAFEs are facing across this nation is a result of significant withdrawal of funding across Conservative state governments. And indeed, we've only just recently seen the New South Wales budget, the implication that's come out of that with the loss of jobs in the TAFE sector and a 30,000 decrease in the number of students enrolled in TAFE as a result of what's been happening in that state alone. So it is absolutely critical at this point in time, if we do not want to lose what is a national asset, that all governments, including the federal government, get active on finding ways to support our public TAFEs and also to make sure that they remain available across the nation. Now, I notice the member for Herbert is here, paying avid attention to my contribution. The member for Herbert chaired, and with the member for Perth as the co-chair, produced an excellent report on TAFE, TAFE a national asset, a bipartisan report. And what we found in that report, I was a member of that committee, was that TAFE indeed provides education and training across the nation, in particular in what would be called thin markets. That is areas where it's not able to turn a profit for anybody else. And mostly that's in our regional and rural areas, and the minister at the table, I'm sure, would be well aware of that across regional and rural Australia. Because the TAFE is actually the only serious player in town for so many of those communities. And so if we do not want to see regional and rural Australia slip further behind, then I think every one of us in this place, whether we're based in regions like I am, rural areas, or indeed in our cities, have a responsibility to ensure that TAFE continues to prosper and be the backbone of our vocational education and training system. The other thing that we found was that, in particular, there are a range of areas that are very capital intensive to provide training for. And that was an example we saw this morning in the automotive section. It costs a lot of money to put the equipment in to keep it updated. As we know, technology across the trades is expanding at a rapid pace. The jobs of the future in the trades, as much as in the ICT sector, are changing at a rapid rate. And we were looking at some of the computer technology that people were being trained on for mechanical repairs only today. That is expensive investment. It's investment by governments over a long period of time. I'm pleased to say Labor at the federal level in government use significant proportions of our capital investment in the post-secondary sector to put money into TAFEs, and that needs to be utilised and taken advantage of. So we need apprentices in place. We need them in there getting the training. But the government, the Abbott government, has taken away $1 billion of support for apprentices. We met those mature apprentices that we met, who have to take quite often a significant drop in their income to undertake an apprenticeship, have lost the mature age incentive payment that they used to previously be made to help them manage the cost of doing an apprenticeship. And I have to say, we're not very happy about that at all. A decision by the government in my EFO last year. So we need to keep apprentices training in those facilities, and we've seen about a 20% decrease in commencements over the last 12 months and a 20% decrease in completions. How is that? Training people for the jobs of the future. I also want to make the point that capital investment is only ever going to be done by public providers to that extent. Now, I don't want anyone to get a mistaken impression. I've met many, many really excellent private providers out there in the sector doing great work. But the reality is our public providers need to be the backbone of our system. And that sort of facility is really significantly important for so many communities and for their training efforts. And that's another particular reason why the uniqueness of our public provider has to be supported. The other thing I want to draw the House's attention to in the development of the new economy is that many people, and we had people talking to us about it at the facility today, many people are coming to the understanding that they may have trained in their trade or their profession over recent decades, and now the technology that's intrinsic to just about every job, doesn't matter what you do, is requiring them to upskill, to add to their skills base in order not only to be more effective at their job, but a lot of these are small business owners too, actually looking to get the modern skills that they need to keep their businesses flourishing. And so often TAFE is the option for them that allows them to access the sort of training and at the quality that they want. And so for the upskilling effort, the expansion and innovation in many of our small businesses across the nation, TAFE is critically important as well. So I want to make the point on National TAFE Day that this is absolutely the wrong time, for the federal government to even consider an option that says we're going to abandon the vocational education and training sector. Nothing to do with the national effort, nothing to do with national productivity, no role in national participation, nothing to say about national innovation, nothing to contribute to growth and new job opportunities in this country. The whole vocational education and training sector can just be passed back to the states and we don't have to take any responsibility. It is wrong. It is wrong to even allow it to sit out there in discussion. I think the government needs to take immediate action on the back of that Federation Green Paper to make it clear to the over 1 million Australians who are participating in vocational education and training in any year that they're not about to abandon them. They're not about to walk away, because those people with their qualifications are, unsurprisingly, mobile. They want to move across state borders, they want to move between industries, they want to upskill and be part of the modern national economy, and to do that they need an active Federal government. They need a federal government that understands the sector, and they need a federal government that absolutely invests in their TAFE and their public provider as well as part of that mix.